Imagine finding a map from the 1500s that seems to show things nobody should have known back then. This isn't just any old map. It's a puzzle that has puzzled historians and scientists for decades. It's called the Piri Reis map, and it's one of the most mysterious documents ever discovered. In 1929, a group of historians was working in the Topkapi Palace in Istanbul, Turkey. While sorting through old documents in the library, they stumbled upon a section of a map drawn on a piece of gazelle skin. It was signed by an Ottoman admiral and cartographer named Piri Reis. It was dated to the year 1513. The map itself was beautiful, full of detailed drawings of ships, kings, and strange animals. But what made it truly incredible was what it depicted. It showed the coasts of Europe, Africa, and South America with remarkable accuracy for its time. This was surprising because in 1513, explorers like Columbus had only just begun to chart these new lands. How could Piri Reis have known so much detail? Piri Reis himself provided a clue. On the map, he wrote notes, explaining that he didn't create it from his own explorations alone. Instead, he said he compiled it from about 20 different source maps. Some of these maps were from his contemporaries, but others, he claimed, were much, much older. He even mentioned using a map that once belonged to Christopher Columbus himself. This suggests that there was a hidden world of ancient knowledge that was being shared among sailors and mapmakers. The real mystery, however, lies at the very bottom of the map. It shows a landmass connected to the southern tip of South America. For a long time, people thought it was just a strange, imaginative drawing of the South American coastline. But in the 1960s, a professor named Charles Hapgood looked at it and proposed a mind-bending theory. He suggested that this wasn't just a distorted coastline. He believed it was a depiction of Antarctica. This idea seemed impossible. Antarctica was officially discovered in 1820, more than 300 years after Piri Reis drew his map. And even more baffling, the landmass on the map appeared to be free of ice. Today, Antarctica is covered by an ice sheet that is miles thick. So the big question became, how could Piri Reis have mapped Antarctica, and how could he have known what it looked like without its massive ice cap? Hapgood's theory was electrifying. He proposed that the Piri Reis map was based on source material from a very ancient, lost civilization. He argued that this advanced civilization must have existed thousands of years ago. During a time when Antarctica's climate was warmer and its coasts were not covered in ice, this ancient civilization, according to Hapgood, had the technology to explore and map the entire world with incredible precision. Their maps were then passed down through the centuries, eventually finding their way into the hands of Piri Reis. This would explain the map's stunning accuracy and its depiction of an ice-free Antarctica. To support his claim, Hapgood sent the map to the United States Air Force for analysis. A cartographic unit, led by Lieutenant Colonel Harold Ohlmeyer, examined the map's projections. Ohlmeyer's response was astonishing. He wrote that the depiction of the Antarctic coast on the Piri Reis map seemed to align remarkably well with the subglacial landmass discovered through modern seismic surveys. In his letter, Ohlmeyer stated, "The claim that the lower part of the map portrays the Princess Martha coast of Queen Maud Land, Antarctica, and the Palmer Peninsula is reasonable." He also added, "We find that this is the most logical, and in all probability, the correct interpretation of the map." This seemed to be a huge validation of Hapgood's theory. News of the Air Force's conclusion spread like wildfire. It fueled theories about ancient astronauts, lost civilizations like Atlantis, and a forgotten chapter of human history. The idea that an advanced society mapped the globe long before our recorded history is incredibly compelling. It challenges everything we think we know about the past. However, the scientific and historical communities have a different perspective on the Piri Reis map. While they agree it's an amazing document, they offer more grounded explanations. First, let's talk about the accuracy of the map. While the coastlines of Europe and Africa are well drawn, South America is a different story. The continent is shown stretched and distorted, bending sharply to the east. Many cartographers argue that this isn't a flaw, but a common practice of the time. When map makers ran out of space on their parchment, they would often curve or bend land masses to make them fit. This is a much simpler explanation than assuming Piri Reis had access to satellite-like views. Now, what about the most tantalizing part? The supposed Antarctic coastline. Mainstream experts have a number of counterarguments. One major point is that the landmass shown might not be Antarctica at all. It could simply be the southern coast of South America, drawn with a combination of limited data and a lot of imagination. Early mapmakers often filled in unknown areas with speculative drawings of land, mountains, and rivers. This was standard practice, and the Antarctic section could just be a large-scale example of this. Another possibility is that Piri Reis believed in the ancient Greek idea of a massive southern continent, known as Terra Australis. For centuries, geographers theorized that a huge landmass must exist in the south to balance the weight of the continents in the northern hemisphere. The land on the map could be Piri Reis's attempt to depict this theoretical continent. But what about the U.S. Air Force's confirmation? This is where things get a bit more complicated. Later analysis of Allmeyer's letter revealed that his statement might have been taken out of context. He was confirming that Hapgood's interpretation was reasonable, not that it was factually correct. Critics also point out that the supposed Antarctic coast on the map only vaguely resembles the true subglacial coastline. You have to rotate and stretch the map significantly to make it fit. Also, the map is missing key features, like the Drake Passage. It's the body of water that separates South America from Antarctica. Instead, the two continents appear to be connected. And what about the science of an ice-free Antarctica? Geologists have confirmed that Antarctica has been covered in ice for millions of years. The last time any significant part of it was ice-free was so long ago that it predates the existence of modern humans. This makes the idea of an ancient civilization mapping it extremely unlikely, if not impossible. The number of sources Piri Reis used is also a clue. He compiled his map from many different charts, some of which were likely Portuguese maps of recent discoveries. These maps were state secrets at the time, but as an Ottoman admiral, Piri Reis may have captured them from enemy ships. This could explain the surprising detail of the South American coast without needing ancient sources. So, we are left with two very different stories. One is a tale of a forgotten, advanced civilization that left behind a legacy of knowledge hidden in an old map. The other is a story of a brilliant 16th-century cartographer working at the peak of the Age of Discovery, piecing together the known world from the best information he could find. The Piri Reis map is a perfect example of a historical mystery where the lines between fact, theory, and fantasy become blurred. It forces us to question our understanding of the past. Is it proof of a lost world, or is it a testament to the skill and imagination of a Renaissance mapmaker? The map doesn't give up its secrets easily. Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in the middle. Maybe Piri Reis did have access to some older maps, not from a super advanced civilization, but from earlier forgotten voyages that we have no record of. The oceans have always been places of mystery and secrets. It's possible that sailors had charted parts of the world long before their discoveries were officially recorded. Regardless of the explanation you choose to believe, the Piri Reis map remains an object of fascination. It's a snapshot of a time when the world was still full of blank spaces, waiting to be filled in. It reminds us that history is not always a straight line. It's a complex web of knowledge, some of which gets lost and rediscovered over time. The map is a beautiful work of art, a valuable historical document, and a mind-bending puzzle all in one. It continues to inspire debate and wonder more than 500 years after it was created. What do you think? Is the map a window into a lost past, or a masterpiece of its own time? The mystery endures. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the past. For more explorations of historical mysteries, don't forget to subscribe to Historical Repo.